Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Culture Study. I'm Jack, joined by...
I'm Giovanni.
Alright, so we are back after quite a bit of a break, but I think I'll chalk that up to the fact that there wasn't really much on our mind to cover at the time. But we're back here today, Gio, with what are we covering today?
We're covering Seulgi's solo debut mini album. Yeah, September was kind of slow music-wise. I mean, there was a few big names, but besides that, everybody else was just quiet. But October's going to be pretty big. There's going to be a lot more releases that we could potentially cover. And we're going to start off with her solo debut because it's brought up some controversy on the K-pop Twitter stands.
Interesting. What's it called? If memory is correct, she is a member of Red Velvet, right?
Mm-hmm. She's, I want to say, the second eldest. Maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, should I give a little brief history on Red Velvet?
Sure.
So Red Velvet debuted in 2015 as a 4-member group, and then a year later they introduced their 5th member, Yeri. She's the youngest, she's the maknae, and they got a lot of hate because they introduced a new member, and since they come from SM Entertainment, which is one of the big 3 companies, a lot of the fans were upset because they felt like she was just like jumping on the bandwagon and getting all the fame for nothing. And so yeah, that was like one of the controversies that they faced. But they've been going on for 7 years now, I think, and I think some of them renewed their contracts. I'm not too invested in Red Velvet, so I don't actually know. But yeah, one of the members, Irene, she's considered the epitome of Korean beauty, or according to Korean beauty standards. And I do agree, she's very beautiful. And what else is there to say that I know? Oh, she's the third. Out of the 5, she's the third. Seulgi's the third one to have her solo project. First it was Joey with Hello, I think. And then it was Wendy with Like Water. And now we have Seulgi with 28 Reasons. And since I have nothing else to say about Red Velvet, let's just get into the album, the mini album.
Let's get straight into it, starting off with the title track, 28. What were your thoughts on this track, Gio?
28 Reasons is it's a very interesting song, specifically because the very first line that we hear is Seulgi saying that she kissed our brother. That's like the main reason this song has gotten a lot of controversy. It was not like real controversy, it's just people just completely shocked by the line, I kissed your brother. That's very interesting. But besides that,
I said it caught me off guard when I put the song on and that was the first thing I heard.
Yeah. My theory is because sometimes the companies, they buy songs off of English writers. So I think in the translation from an English song to a Korean song, they botch the lyrics because that's very common in K-pop. But yeah, besides that, the rest of the song is very, very, very to vibe because it has, sadistic vibes. Has what's the other one? I had it written down. But yeah, there's a lot of themes here that are very, I guess, dark. There's right at the tip of my tongue. Jack, why don't you go first and then let me remember.
Yeah, so as always, I take multiple listens to songs, albums, and stuff, and surprisingly, this might be surprising to a lot of people to hear, but when I first heard this song, I don't know, I wasn't really vibing with it. I wasn't really messing with it. I was like, I don't know. There was nothing inherently bad about it. Like, I liked a lot of the melodies when I gave it a first listen, but there was something off about it to me. Like, I just didn't know what it was, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm liking the title track as much, and I guess it's because like there's some, in my eyes, there's like a bit of like awkward transitions in certain points. But as I gave it more and more listens, that's when it started clicking with me. And I was like, okay, no, this is a real great song. Like, I really enjoyed the melodies from her. And as I listened to it more and more, I kind of started enjoying a lot of the sort of vibe and, like, atmosphere the song was building for itself with its themes, like you were saying.
Yeah, and speaking of, I remembered, I was having a discussion with people in my server about this because there seemed to be some confusion regarding like the theme of the song. Because I don't know if you watched it, but weeks ago they released an album trailer for it, and the album trailer was very much just picture. Do you know the show 13 Reasons Why?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically that. It had like that kind of vibe where she's kind of like the outcast and like she doesn't really fit in, and like everyone around her is like in one world but she's in her own. And then we see she gets like a rifle and she shoots someone, and then there's a car explosion. So it's a very chaotic how would you call it, like existential crisis kind of thing. And so there was a lot of confusion because the song doesn't really fit into that. And later on, the next song, I'm going to say something about that. So I wrote down that there was a lot of like manipulative themes, like exploitive, sadistic, and just very dark themes because of specific lines. It was basically her saying that she enjoys making the other person suffer, but it's not because she's evil, because the other person is making it that way. So it's very like, what's the word, masochist? Yeah, it's very much like that. And I really like the thing that you were saying about like the transitions in the song. SM as of late have been doing like some weird thing with their solo artist, where they kind of have like a normal, it's not a, I guess you could say like a normal song, but they kind of change it around to give it like a creative edge. And sometimes it's because, yeah, that's like their trend that they're going for. They're really pushing their creativity, and I don't know, that might not appeal to people, but I really did enjoy it. I didn't notice that creativity as much in this song, and that, not to say like it wasn't creative, but it wasn't like as jarring as like other songs that I've heard, where like the transitions are just like completely two different things. I felt like this one really, the transitions fit each other like very well. I really like she kind of like growls while singing a line during the "Make Your Dreams Come True." She kind of growls, and I don't know, something about Seulgi's voice. She's my bias in Red Velvet. I just love her voice, and she's a really good dancer. So it was, after that, I was very hyped for this release. Yeah, I really liked how she sung this song.
Yeah, and you bring up, her voice, and I don't think there's a better example than the next song with some of the vocals that she hits on. And the next song obviously is Dead Man Walking, and I was really impressed with a lot of the multiple different vocal performances she had, like in different parts of the song. I was just so impressed, not only with like her normal singing, but then when the chorus comes around and she really has to not only go high but sometimes hold it for a while. I was very impressed.
I think this song fits the theme because she wrote this song, she composed this song I don't know if she was involved in the producing side, but she has the credits for writing this song. So I think this is what the album trailer is like speaking on, this song specifically, because it really does fit like the themes that we saw in the trailer. And yeah, I agree with you. Like she killed it with her performance. I don't know if a lot of people I've seen on Twitter want her to do like a special performance video for it, since she wrote it. But yeah, I really do want to see that. This song she did really well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed so much of this, like the different melodies, like I said, their vocal performance on it. And to me, I don't know if people are gonna take this in a negative way, but like I in no way mean it in a negative way. But to me, I think it's like how do I want to put it? Like I'm trying to think of how do I want to formulate my thoughts, but the main point that I have is that like it's the most Western sounding like pop song, if I want to say. Like despite it being a K-pop song, a lot of the sound, like I guess like basically like a lot of the song structure, the sound of the song overall, like in terms of the production of the actual music behind it all and stuff, it just came off as very like very much a lot of what you hear out here in the West from certain artists who kind of take the similar approach of pop music, where it's not like, it's not necessarily, the pop music of what you sometimes hear it on the radio, but like I'm trying to think of like what's the way to describe it. Like it very much has like I don't know, it has like a Western feel to it. Like I'm trying to think of what pop artist I want to compare it to, but like it to me it sounds very Western. And it like to me I think it would be a very like successful song out here in the West, because it sounds a lot like what you'd hear from certain artists, certain pop artists out here in the West.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think, because I heard while you were talking, I put it on in the background for a little bit, and it reminds me of a Western artist, but I can't put like the name to it. But I do agree. It has a very Western vibe to it.
Yeah.
And the way that there's certain parts in the song where she like sings it, and it kind of reminds me of Adele, like vocally, but not the instrumental. The instrumental's definitely someone else.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it right now, and it upsets me that like I can't think of, but like this song, the instrumental of it all sounds like something you'd hear in the West, but she does it really well. And her voice definitely adds a sort of like emotional weight to the song,
Yeah.
Because like easily the lyrics can hold that emotional weight, but her singing adds to it just the way that like at times, especially during the chorus, the way she kind of like stresses her voice for certain parts, it really adds a good amount of emotion to it.
I feel like that's when K-pop artists write their own songs, they tend to be like, because they have like that emotional connection to it, because they created it, the performances of it are always better than when they're just singing a song that their company chose to give them. It's nice to see, because as of late in 2022, and I think last year too, there's been a lot of like self-composing in K-pop, and I don't know, you'd love to see it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it. It's obviously something we see a lot more of, or we see a good mix, because in the Western world, but more so like for certain genres, it's kind of similar to such where a lot of the artists aren't expected to be writing their own music, like I can't throw names out off the top of my head, but like the only time I've seen it made like a pretty big deal of is obviously in rap, because like especially when like if you're gonna call yourself like a lyricist or really make a name for yourself as a lyricist, if it comes out that someone else is writing your raps for you, then like people automatically write you off. Like so many people wrote Drake off because of the fact that they found out he has ghostwriters for him, and they're just like, you don't even write your own stuff, so it's not like it made a lot of people not respect him as an artist, and like we see like a bunch of people like they kind of hold themselves high for the fact that they write their own music, or certain artists are elevated because of the fact of that. So I wouldn't necessarily want that type of energy to come to other genres. Like, what does it matter if some people are having their music written for them or not, if they're performing it and doing well, and the writers are being compensated well for their stuff, But I definitely think every artist should be allowed to at least try and come up with their own songs, just because, like you said, a lot of times we see, it just ends up coming out better in almost every way. It has more emotional weight behind it. It seems like the performance put into it is a lot better than other songs, and it's kind of for the best of music and overall.
There's a K-pop artist. Her name's Yua. She's a member of Omicron, and the way that she just like presented her song, but like she was basically like, how would you say it? Like, it was basically like a musical for like her alone. Like, it was like I was like completely like captivated by her energy, and just like, yeah, like when you have like control, like creative liberty over what you create, and have like the liberty to do so, it's, I don't know, so much better for the audience, because you're giving the audience something that you want to give them. But we've been seeing a lot of, well, not a lot, but it's just kind of like, I guess like a bandwagon opinion in K-pop, like specifically with rappers, because you've seen like in K-pop songs, like the rappers have like 2-3 lines, like 3 seconds out of a song. So it's not like an important thing. It's just something that people force into songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. And then like we have nothing to like judge the rappers off of, because we have so little material. So people have been saying, oh, if the rapper doesn't write her own lines, then she's not a good rapper. But there's like so few that actually do write their own lyrics, and half of the time it's trash. So it's, I don't know, it's just,
yeah,
it's like people are becoming more expected of it now, especially with like solo artists. Or I guess it depends, because like if you find a solo artist and you find out that they write their own music, like 99% of it is their own work. When you find another solo artist and you find out that they don't write their music, you kind of like judge them a little bit for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just it's like a side of K-pop that is a thing, or becoming more of a thing lately.
Interesting. That's, yeah, like I said, I don't know. It's always like to each their own, and that I can understand both sides to it, but I definitely don't think a ton of people should like put a lot of weight behind it,
Mm-hmm.
Especially like if the music is good, like it's one thing if you don't like really listen to them or whatnot, but like it's another thing if like people were enjoying a song they were loving, and then it comes out and then people are like, oh nah, their music's terrible. It's like you were just listening to them like a week ago before you found out the news.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't feel like it's very unfair in my opinion, because the artist is still providing their own set of skills to the song. So like one person wrote it, the person who wrote it may not have the same amount of vocal experience to deliver it as an artist would. So it's not like they're not doing anything. They're still doing like all like pretty much like 60% of the work. Because I don't know. Because like, what's the point of having gas without a car? You need both.
Moving on to our next song, though. What did you think of the next song, "Bad Boy Sad Girl," Gio, featuring I don't know the featured artist.
B.O. I've heard of this guy before. I thought he was just like a ripoff of B.I. because I found out that he was like B.I. is one of his role models, and I guess he wanted a similar name, B.O. I don't know. That's just like it's not good. B.O. means body odor. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, but I've heard. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of collaborations when it comes to K-pop, especially when it's people I don't know, because I want to listen to Seulgi, but then there's an entire verse and pre-chorus with this guy, and I'm just kind of like, it's like impossible to always skip his parts. Like, not to give the guy, not to hate on him, but I don't want to be listening to you when I'm,
I get you.
That's just how I feel. Like, Seulgi, I really liked her parts. The other guy, B.O. That's such a stupid name, B.O. Oh my god, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's kind of like...
I get what you mean. The guy himself, I don't know too much about him, and I don't want to judge him, but you can definitely tell he's very much emulating B.I.'s style a lot. And like that's something that you see a lot with artists in their early days, where they start emulating their inspiration styles a bit too much, and they don't know how to take inspiration while at the same time not fully ripping off,
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how to make a balance to it. Like, what's it called?
It's like Drake with Soulja Boy.
Yeah, you see a lot of artists at the beginning really kind of struggle with that, and as they get deeper into their career, they fully develop their own style, and a lot of times they move away from that, But here, if he's early into his career, then like you could really tell he's taking inspiration. He has his inspirations, but he hasn't fully gotten to the point yet of how to make it different, in the sense of make himself stand out rather than looking like a copy, And I don't know. I really liked her vocals. No, I was saying I really liked her vocals on this song. Definitely another song that I was like, yeah, she's really demonstrating how great of a vocal set she has. I liked a lot of like how the song kind of flowed together, and I think it's just my own personal bias, but I really enjoy how do I put this? I really enjoy duets when they're done right, in the sense of like, I don't know, I especially like male-female duets, because they really kind of balance out in a way for me. I really like the way it sounds a lot of times.
Yeah, I really like to collaborations between B.I., obviously, and Lehigh. I think you heard of, I sent you a song of her before. Their voices go really well together, and like every time they've done like a lot of collaborations. I don't know, I can't speak, and every single time it's just perfect, because her voice, his raps, sometimes vocals is just perfect for each other, and they're like really close friends, so that just like adds to it. What was I gonna say? Damn, I lost my train of thought. I guess we could move on. Do you have anything else to say?
No, just good song. I'll put it at that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that reminded me. I'm really like, one of the reasons why I really like Seulgi is because it's like very rare for like an artist or an idol, I guess it's just idol, to have like at least in Generation 3 of K-pop, it was very rare for an artist to be both a really good dancer and a really good singer. And Seulgi, yeah, like she would be considered an ace because of it. Like you should see some of her live stages, dude. Like her voice is very stable, and like I was like having a hard time trying to distinguish if it was pre-recorded or if she was actually singing live. But then I noticed like some of the notes were a little bit different while she was singing. So I was like, whoa, she's such a good singer. And another one is Jihyo from Twice. She's an incredible vocalist and an incredible dancer. And that's why both of them are kind of like on my top 10 best titles. But yeah, she's an incredible vocalist.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed a lot of her vocals on this album.
Yeah.
And the next song, Anywhere But Home, it really started to pick up the pace a bit, I guess you could say, in terms of like the way a lot of these songs were heading. But again, it has that Western sound to it in terms of the instrumental. Again, I should have, or it's not that I didn't have it noted down, because I just knew it had like a Western feel, but I just can't tell you what artists I'm thinking of, because it's not just one singular one. It has multiple different artists feel to it, but this one definitely, again, I thought to myself, I'm like, if more people in the West were willing to give it a chance, this is another song that would, make it pretty big, because the overall sound of it just sounds like something you'd hear a lot of people listening to here in the West. Like, I think this one, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the artist, man. I almost want to say you throw Dua Lipa on this song and boom, it's a big hit out here in the West. Like, for this song specifically, Anywhere But Home, put the lyrics fully in English, give it to Dua Lipa, have her record it over this same instrumental, and I guarantee you it's a big hit out here in the West.
Yeah, while you were talking, I was thinking, hey, this sounds like Dua Lipa. But this could be a song for Dua Lipa.
Yeah. But
is that how you pronounce her name, Dua Lipa?
I believe so. If we're mispronouncing it, I apologize. But with that being said, that is in no way trying to take away from Seulgi, because this is still a great song nonetheless, and anytime we do these reviews, it just kind of it makes me a little bit sad as a fan of music, because I'm just like, man, so many great artists that people just will never discover, so many great songs that people will never discover because, they're too close-minded in a way,
Yeah, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think someone in my service said that like maybe 2 or 3 of the composers for these songs were from Australia or Austria. No, Australia. I think it was Australia. So, yeah, the English is there. That could be why it has that Western feel. But, yeah. It's kind of like, we said it before, people should be more open-minded about music, and it's a shame that they're going to go their entire lives without listening to certain masterpieces just because they're from other regions of the world and other languages.
Yeah, man, because I don't know how you feel about it, but I really enjoyed this song. I thought it was a bop.
The only one I don't have, I was kind of 50-50 with is Bad Boy, Bad Girl,
Sad Girl? Bad Boy, Sad Girl, I think it is.
Yeah, the B.O. guy. Yeah, that's the only one I'm 50-50 because it's a collab. But the rest of the songs I truly love. I really like.
Yeah,
from what you were saying, from this point on, it kind of develops into a new sound, and yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I think this is where in a sense, somewhat experimental, but not fully experimental, because it still has, a good amount of K-pop sound to it, but it's still unique in its own way so far,
I think some might say, some core fans of Red Velvet might say that this is a very Red Velvet-y song, and I do see that, because when I was listening to it, I was like, yo, this would really fit a full Red Velvet group song.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Yeah, especially with like how I guess this is not like the proper way or like the technical way of describing her notes, but like some of her notes were very like floaty, and that's like very Red Velvet.
I definitely,
I don't.
I get that.
Yeah, that's one way of describing it. Dude. Like we should like up our vocabulary when it comes to music.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna see if there's any musical dictionaries online and start reading it.
Yeah.
I will say
then,
this is like in no way trying to flex, obviously, but like, I do have a bit of musical vocabulary, but that's only because I took music for 3 years, so I know some terms, but I don't know. I don't got Anthony Fantano's level of vocabulary to describe the ins and outs of the music.
then maybe that's the answer. Let's just watch more Anthony Fontana videos.
Let's watch more of them, but also not become like him in the sense of how hated that man is in the musical world.
Dude, I saw this is a tangent, but I saw like a TikTok of him reacting to like some video, and you know, like when people go around asking people questions on the street.
Uh-huh.
And someone said, "What's the worst thing on earth?" or something like that, and the second person, it was a guy, said Anthony Fontana. He's like, "What the f did I do?"
Yeah, I saw that. Dude, we might have to talk on the regular edition of the podcast about like a whole episode about Anthony Fantano, but I actually enjoy a lot of his work. He may not like the same stuff that I do, or he may give stuff that I like a bad review, but like at the end of the day, I look at it this way: he's a reviewer, he's technically a critic, if you want to say, and it's like people always have different tastes, and you're not always going to agree with everyone. Life would be boring if we all agreed with each other.
Yeah.
Because then you don't get moments where someone gives a hot take and it becomes like the talk of the week. Heck, Anthony.
I'm very.
Sorry, I was fumbling words. I was gonna say, heck, Anthony Fantano doesn't like two out of the. I don't know what I don't think I've ever heard him speak on one of them, but my top 3 favorite bands of all time, he doesn't like 2 of them. But yet I still enjoy his work and still take his criticisms because that man does a lot of I guess you could say or he listens to a lot of music, and like it's funny because people always tell him, oh, show off your Apple Music replay or Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year, and he's like, I listen to so much, especially for reviews, that it wouldn't be a sort of like accurate depiction of
reflection.
his taste. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a guy in the K-pop community. I told you about him. His name, or their name, is, they go by PD. They do what was it called? There's the culture study, but with a K.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, and I really respect his opinions on the releases because he's been like into K-pop for years now, like more than a decade at this point. But there are some moments when I just like completely disagree and like I just like discredit his opinion because when B.I.'s B2 came out, I think I pronounced that right. I don't know, when B2 or something like that. It's Korean, so I don't know. When that came out, it came out at the same time as something else. I can't remember what it was, but oh yeah, it was Astro's Candy Sugar Pop. It was a boy group, and he gave Astro a higher rating than B.I.'s solo song, and that really pissed me off, dude. I was in a call, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like livid. I don't know why, but he gave Astro like a 7 out of 10 or something, an 8, and he gave B.I. a 7 or a 6, and I was like, how are you gonna put that above this? And I like for the next 2 or 3 months, I literally didn't watch anything out of spite from him. But yeah, when it comes to like the general opinion of K-pop, I'm just like, yeah, I agree with you. No, I disagree. But when it comes to like my favorites, if you say something wrong, those are fighting words.
Unsubscribed, unsubbed.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know, that's kind of like a toxic approach, but it's K-pop, bro. Like everything is toxic about it.
No lie, man. that's the funny thing. Is like I haven't had many, but as I've gotten more into this, I've started to see the more toxic side. But I'll always be a firm believer that the online community, though it seems large when you're looking at it, it'll always be the minority, you know. And you know, most of the time, these are just people who what's the phrase they use? Chronically online, you know. They like these people don't exist in real life in a sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these people you run into online, they're not real people in the real world, you know. Like they're just chronically online, and the people you're gonna run into the real world when it comes to like these interests will more than likely be, you know, it's not a confirmed thing, or like it's not saying like you won't run into like bad people in these communities in real life, but like for the most part, you know, the people that you'll meet in real life with these interests aren't like how the people are online, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll run in, they're just the casual fans, you know, they just buy the albums, they love listening to the music, they'll love the genre, you know, and that's about it, you know. You don't see them going to war with other fandoms and trying to defend their favorite artists because another artist's fandom, you know, brought up like streaming numbers or something like that, you know. But
I was gonna say something.
Oh.
But I keep forgetting. God. I have Overwatch on my mind, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, tomorrow's episode is going to be a good one. But
yeah. It's going to be a 7-hour seminar.
But 8 minutes left in this episode, 8 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's move quickly on to
yeah, let's move on.
The second to last
Angeles.
song, Los Angeles. That's where we are.
Yeah, just DDoS us. Let's go.
Just well, I don't think we've ever hidden the fact of our location in the sense of we're in Los Angeles, but as long as you know, like how people when they interact with a certain rap artist fan base on like social media, the joke is that like, oh yo, they just sent me a picture of my mother's house, I gotta delete the tweet. Yeah, as long as that's not happening, I think we're good. But what do you think of this song, dude?
I really like the techno vibe to it.
Yeah, I got the same vibe.
Yeah, it was very. This is like a very like unique song because I don't think I've heard like a song with this structure before. Because you have like Seulgi singing, and then you just have like a techno break, and then you go back to Seulgi singing, and another techno break. I was listening to this while we were playing Overwatch yesterday, dude, and it fit like so perfectly, dude.
I was doing the same.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I don't know what's going on with my computer, but they heard me listening to it.
Oh yeah, your mic was picking it up.
Yeah.
I think this is besides. Yeah, I think this is my favorite song off of this mini album.
It definitely gave me similar vibes to was it Trouble or Gone? I think it was Trouble, right? From Twice is Between 1 and 2 that I said would be like a song you'd hear in a club. This is another one because of that techno feel. I keep saying these songs sound like club songs, but I've never been in one. But it has that vibe to it, man. It has that Miami Vice, Miami club type feel to it.
Dude, apparently there's a K-pop club here in LA, and it's just like a regular bar, but they have like this massive screen on the wall, and they just play K-pop stuff.
Write that down.
K-pop.
Write that down.
I mean, we're gonna.
Let's take Dom there.
I don't know if we were built for the club scene, but
you're not wrong.
That's something that happens.
Let's take Dom there. Let's take Jose there.
Dude, I was gonna make one of Dom's notorious jokes about, planting something.
Oh gosh.
But never mind.
But yeah, I what's it called? With this song, it definitely has that feel, and this one, I almost want to say it has my gosh, I kind of get like two sounds from it. Like, I don't know, there's some parts of it that I hear it and I'm like, this sounds like something that would be on The Weeknd's album. But then certain parts, I guess maybe it's more so the instrumental that gives me the vibe. It also sounds like something maybe Stray Kids would use. But like, those are the two artists I was thinking of with this song. But it's still like I just I'm glad you picked this album for us to review, and I could get to hear her vocals more, because you've shown me Red Velvet a bit in the past, but like I've never been able to hear her vocals isolated like this, you know.
Yeah, that's like the one thing I really like about like when they start doing solo projects, because you could like really get to appreciate the skills of a person. Dude, I'm looking forward to that GQ solo project. That's gonna be like the end of me.
It should be coming, man. She has a unique look going on right now.
Yeah, there's after Seulgi, there's either Irene or Yeri. I kind of have a vibe for what Yeri is going to do, but Irene is so unpredictable. You can't you can't pin on it. It's gonna be amazing too. And yeah, I'm kind of happy that for like the month of October, Seulgi's the first one that we reviewed. There's just like a definite strong start.
Yeah, and I don't want to take up too much time. We got 4 minutes, but I just want to say real quick, and this could be a whole rant for a whole another episode, but I'm really glad that K-pop takes the approach of similar like this is, I know this is gonna throw a lot of people off, but I love that they take the Wu-Tang Clan approach to it, where they're like, we're a group, but at the same time, if they want to do like solo projects, they can do it without completely splitting off from the group and having to make a solo career out of it, you know?
Yeah.
That can be an option maybe later once the group wraps up, but like they allow them to do these solo projects while still remaining as a group, whereas many times we've seen in the West, it's like there's a group and then one guy wants to try doing solo stuff and he just completely leaves the group, but you know, because of it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely because of contracts, because K-pop companies, they leave like that door open so they could get more money out of us, but yeah. It's just, but I don't know, we have like 3 minutes left. Let's talk about the last song.
Yeah, the last song is Crown.
Crown is very, I don't know, it's very Seulgi. I like, this is her vibe.
Yeah,
because of, I don't know if you saw like the previous Red Velvet release, is Feel My Rhythm. She had like this like maleficent look to her, and I don't know, this fits that vibe of Seulgi. And she's kind of like, I don't know, she's like very innocent, but she's like, when she really wants to, she has like this very like evil aura around her. Like she's like really good at doing that, and it just really fits her because it's kind of like, it's a very intense song.
And I think the vocal approach she took on this definitely fits that, because there's so many times where she goes with a deeper voice, you know, and like almost like whisper type, you know.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to say like Disney musical type, where you know like the villain is like singing to you, but like they're also like whispering at you, you know, like they're like almost in the sense like they're talking down to you.
Yeah, she has that duality for sure.
And it definitely.
It goes to show how much of a like great vocalist she is.
Yeah, and it definitely helps with as you said, the duality, where it's like she goes low in some points, and then as you start building up to the chorus, her voice really starts getting high, you know.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed this song. To throw even more praise, I may not know the full story behind the build up or anything, but I like the approach to the album cover to kind of fit that mood that you said about like sort of like a darker evil side, you know. I really liked the album cover. I know, shocker for me after I was, you know, crapping all over the previous album covers, but thank you for giving me an album cover that actually looks nice, Seulgi.
But I'm gonna give you one afterwards that hopefully you liked, because this thing's mind-boggling me. But yeah, how would you rate the album? Mini album.
I think I'm going to give it. Originally, I was thinking like 8.5, but I think a solid 9 is a good rating for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 too. The one, like, it loses at one point because of BO. Dude, like, I'm not trying to hate on the guy, but come on, man. Why are you here? But yeah, it's definitely like a very strong start to the October mess that we're going to see.
Yeah, and it's going to be a strong vibe overall for this entire podcast, as there's just so much content coming in October.
I mean, to be honest, let's see if like literally anything else lives up to this.
You know,
or
honestly,
can compete.
let's
Yeah.
hope so. But until probably next week, we'll see what we cover. But here's to October and all the content it will provide.